spirited, spontaneous, heart-stopping college football in the nation, is it more exciting than in the Southeastern Conference? Hello, I'm Lindsey Nelson, and the SEC. Ten talented teams battled furiously for the championship, and it wasn't decided until the last game. The winner, Louisiana State, met national champion Nebraska in the Orange Bowl, and 4 runners-up accepted other bowl invitations. To the Sugar, Alabama to the Bluebonnet, and Auburn and Ole Miss faced off in the Gator. In the final Associated Press poll, LSU, Tennessee, and Auburn all ranked in the nation's top 10. The league produced 11 All-Americans and a National Coach of the Year, Charlie McClendon of LSU. The Southland loves SEC football. In 1970, attendance passed the 3 million mark as more and more fans joined the mad scramble for those precious 50-yard line seats. Let's relive this great year as we see how each SEC school faced the challenge of 1970. For openers, here's Auburn. In the Tigers game against Kentucky's Wildcats in Lexington at homecoming, quarterback Pat Sullivan, national leader in total offense with 286 yards per game, connects with Terry Beasley for a 73-yard touchdown. Later, fullback Wallace Clark on a kickoff return breaks through the first wave of tacklers and races 84 yards for a touchdown. Here's Clark again, smashing off tackle and outrunning pursuing Wildcats 62 yards to the Kentucky 1. Auburn is fierce on defense, too. Linebacker Bobby Strickland cements Kentucky tailback Lee Clymer after a short gain. Now, in Neil Detterming's fierce quarterback Bernie Scruggs. And defensive back Philip Gilchrist steals a pass from Stan Forston's strong arm. Added together, it became Auburn 33, Kentucky 15. Against LSU in a driving rain, Sullivan shortens his passes. He flips a flare to tailback Mickey Zofko to his right, and Mickey makes 9 yards. Then 1 to the left, and Mick gets 11. Gardner Jett kicks this 25-yard field goal. Jett hit 10 of 12 such attempts for the season and placed second in the nation in scoring by kicking with 71 points. Against LSU, his 3 field goals accounted for Auburn's total score. In the Alabama game, Auburn is behind 7-0 when Sullivan fakes to Zofko and keeps at left end for the first Tiger touchdown. Beasley gets the tying touchdown with this 42-yard end-around sprint to the Alabama 7. And eventually scores the winning touchdown on this catch of a 3-yard pass from Sullivan in the thrilling 33-28 contest. Defensive play like this helped considerably. Linebacker Gene Walker nails quarterback Scott Hunter for an 8-yard loss. Vanderbilt had a good offense going until injuries benched their first 3 quarterbacks. Steve Berger, playing tailback against Mississippi State at Memphis, takes a flare pass from quarterback Watson Brown and moves 24 yards to the Mississippi 13. Berger, who started the season as number 4 tailback, finished as the all-sophomore, all-SEC quarterback. Here, on the next play, he burst through tackle for a touchdown. Vandy defense is sharp here as middle guard Dave Hahn and in George Abernathy cut down state tailback Louis Grubb. Abernathy guards his end well against Georgia, too. Here, he plays two blockers and brings down fullback Ricky Lake after a short gain. On offense, Berger takes a pitch from Watson Brown for 12 yards. Then fullback Bill Young rams over right tackle for 18 yards. Against Tennessee, Berger, now playing quarterback, passes to wingback Alan Spear for a 15-yard gain. Then to the end zone for Jeff People, who takes it for the touchdown when it bounced off the hands of volunteer defenders. Mississippi State developed a sudden striking offense built around the option play. Quarterback Joe Reed against Vanderbilt caps the first quarter with a 34-yard touchdown run. Later, he goes 6 yards for another. In between, he fires a 5-yard touchdown pass to flanker David Smith to account for all 3 touchdowns in the 20-6 victory. Smith caught 74 passes for the season to lead the SEC and place 4th in the nation. Another long-distance threat for the Bulldogs is swift sophomore Frank Dowsing. Here he fumbles a Vanderbilt kickoff, picks it up at the goal line, and takes off. Vandy's George Abernathy cuts him down with a shoestring tackle to prevent a 99-yard touchdown. Against Georgia at Jackson, Mississippi, tailback Louis Grubbs takes an option flip for 15 to the 32. Reed then rolls to the right for 9, down to the 2. And after a shot into the line makes nothing, rolls right again for the game's only touchdown and a 7-6 state win. Defense in the secondary saved it for State. Here, Frank Dowsing makes a big save. Then Ken Farris fights for another. Mississippi State defeats traditional rival Ole Miss without Archie Manning at Oxford, 19-14. Reed, rolling out to pass, is about to be smothered by Elmer Allen and Dennis Coleman, but he gets the pass off to Smith, who sprints in for the touchdown. Here is Louis Grubbs on a breakaway run of 33 yards to the Ole Miss 6. Smith grabs a pass from Reed and races 48 yards before he's tripped on the 1, but bounces into the end zone. Defensively, Farris manhandles rebel receiver Floyd Franks. Dowsing saves the victory with this fingertip interception of an apparent touchdown pass from Shug Chumbler to Jim Pooh. Alabama revived its running game in 1970. Against Ole Miss at Jackson, sophomore Joe LeBeau streaks for 17 yards. All-American Johnny Musso grabs a screen pass and fights for a 10-yard touchdown. Quarterback Neb Hayden balances the offense with a 19-yard scoring pass to Jim Durand. The Tide must depend on the pass against LSU at Birmingham. Scott Hunter, recovered from injuries, throws to Durand for 18. Again for 22. Defensively, ends Ed Hines and Robin Parkhouse cut down Tiger quarterback Bert Jones. Tackle Terry Rowell puts the sudden stop to tailback Art Cantrell. Musso, who gained 1,173 yards for the season, was at his best against Auburn at Birmingham. Here, he gets the game's first touchdown. Then, fullback Dave Brungard breaks out for 25 yards. Skilled receiver George Raniger outstretches the Auburn defender for a Hunter pass and develops a 54-yard touchdown. Hunter flips another to David Bailey for a 2-point conversion and a brief 28-27 lead. Soft linebackers are tough for the Tide. Jim Croft cracks Auburn's Mickey Zofko. Jeff Rousey puts the rush on Sullivan. Croft tips Sullivan's pass, enabling Tommy Wade to intercept in the end zone. Steve Higginbotham makes another interception. Tennessee boasted a balanced offense. At homecoming in Knoxville against Florida, All-SEC Kurt Watson rips right tackle for 6 yards. Then left tackle for 3 and the touchdown. Quarterback Bobby Scott passes to sophomore Stan Trott for 53 yards to the Florida 13 and to junior Joe Thompson for a touchdown. Fierce defense by the Volunteers is ever present in the person of linebacker Jackie Walker. Here, he hits Gator tailback Tommy Durrance. Now he steals a pass and makes a spirited 19-yard return, which seals the 38-7 Tennessee victory. Against Kentucky in Knoxville, Scott passes to Thompson for 24 yards before Dave Van Meter forces him out of bounds. Here, fullback Steve Wohl crashes through tackle for 22 yards. An interception by All-SEC defensive back Tim Priest leads to a 12-yard pass from Scott to Gary Thyler for a score in the 45-0 conquest. Against Vanderbilt at Nashville, tailback Don McCleary clears left end for the first touchdown of a 24-6 victory. Defense is the difference as Frank Howell, Manley Mixon, and Bill Lemondor Commodore quarterback Steve Berger. And the nation's leading interceptor, Bobby Majors, grabs his 10th. Kentucky's offense was wrapped around their gritty little quarterback, Bernie Scruggs, and depended a great deal on situations set up by the rugged defense. Against Auburn, Scruggs connects with end Tom Crow for 30 yards. Linebacker Joe Fettersfield intercepts a Pat Sullivan pass at the 50 and runs down the sideline to the end zone to give the Cats a 12-9 lead. Dave Hunter slips past the line and gains 15 yards. Then Lee Clymer churns through for good yardage. With 4th and 5, Bob Jones comes on for a field goal. Hold it. The play's a fake. Holder Stan Forston passes to Dave Hunter for 9 yards and a first down. Playing Florida at Tampa, Scruggs attempts to pass, but no one is open, so he scrambles upfield for 32 yards. Fullback Houston Hogg charges straight ahead for a 7-yard touchdown. Tailback Jim Reed sprints for 19. Wildcat defense, as displayed by Joe Fettersfield, nabs Gator tailback Tommy Durrance. Then against Tennessee, Don Porterfield, Al Fish, and Dave Roller smear quarterback Bobby Scott. Then Les Lyons drags Scott down. Florida's overpowering aerial defense of 1969 was badly crippled with the knee injury of All-American receiver Carlos Alvarez, who could only play part-time in 1970. Against Tennessee, Alvarez takes a lateral from quarterback John Reeves and throws a forward pass to Andy Chaney. Reeves connects with tight end Jim Yancey for 13 yards. Then fires to Tommy Durrance, who gains 25. Gator defense is personified in Jack Youngblood. He rushes Tennessee's Bobby Scott, and Harvin Clark intercepts for Florida. Against Georgia, he fights off a series of blockers to stop Jack Montgomery. Alvarez is responsible for the Gators' 24-17 comeback victory over Georgia in their annual Donnybrook at Jacksonville. He sprints 22 yards on the old end-around play. In the final 5 minutes, Carlos runs a Reeves pass 32 yards for the tying touchdown, then another 48 yards for the winning marker. Gators take Kentucky at Tampa 24-13 with this type of passing. John Reeves flares to Durrance for 30 yards. Then across the line to Yancey for a touchdown. Now long to Willie Jackson for a 70-yard score. The offense of Ole Miss featured Archie Manning. Facing Alabama at Jackson, Manning fires a pass to tight end Jim Pooh. Then takes off around right end for 30 yards. He hands off to tailback Randy Reed, who sprints for 12. The Rebel defense asserts itself too. Linebacker Crowell Armstrong cracks quarterback Neb Hayden. Does it again, too. Altogether, it amounts to Ole Miss 48, Alabama 23. In Mississippi's game against Houston, Manning suffers a broken left arm. So when Ole Miss hosts traditional rival Mississippi State, Archie handles the press box to bench telephone. Shug Chumbler is the quarterback. He passes to Vernon Studdard for 38 yards. The Rebels run more often. Here, Bob Knight lasts for 13 yards. Now he breaks through and outruns the state secondary for a 49-yard touchdown. Against LSU at Baton Rouge, Manning plays with a special brace on his healing arm. Archie converts the first Rebel opportunity into a touchdown with this pass to Jim Pooh. On the next possession, his receivers are covered, so he slides through the right side of the line but slips at the 4. A touchdown here would have tied the SEC career record in touchdown responsibility. Manning did set a new SEC record for total yardage. The Georgia offense suffered a setback with the early injury of sophomore quarterback James Ray. Against Mississippi State, he passes to Rex Putnell for 10 yards. Jack Montgomery rips off 6 yards. And Kim Braswell kicks a 42-yard field goal. Buck Swindle converts a state pass, which slips through the fingers of Sammy Milner into a Georgia interception. Against Vanderbilt in Athens, Mike Cavan is the quarterback. He breaks open a 10-3 ball game in the third quarter with a pass to Chuck Whittemore for a 65-yard touchdown. Then another for a 17-yard marker, which leads to the eventual 37-3 score. Here, Whittemore out-wrestles a Vandy defender for still another long gainer. The game's longest, however, was a punt return by Buzzy Rosenberg for a 78-yard touchdown. The Bulldog defense is active. Middle guard Dennis Watson slams down Vanderbilt quarterback Denny Painter. Then against Florida, tackle Jimmy Wood forces a fumble from Reeves, which partner Larry Brasher covers. Jimmy Gilbert is the quarterback against the Gators. Here he hits Whittemore for 21 yards. Fullback Robert Honeycutt drives 38 to the Florida 1. Gilbert sneaks over for the touchdown. LSU, famous for its rushing defense, was the nation's best and permitted only 52 yards per game. LSU also had a powerful offense. In the rain against Auburn, tailback Chris Danton smashes for 15 yards. Soft quarterback Bert Jones passes to soft flanker Jerry Keegley for 23. Senior quarterback Buddy Lee connects with junior flanker Andy Hamilton in the end zone. In trimming Alabama 15-9, defense was the weapon. Here, the Tigers demonstrate gang tackling with Johnny Musso, the target. Then Ronnie Este gets him. And now Mike Anderson. On offense, tailback Art Cantrell gains 10. Fullback Alan Shorey runs 23 with a flare pass from Jones. Cantrell demonstrates his method of scoring from the 2-yard line. But at the end, it's defense. Linebacker Louis Cassio halts the final Bama drive with this interception of a Scott Hunter pass. In the final 1970 SEC game, for the championship, defense is again the difference. John Sage crashes Ole Miss quarterback Archie Manning. Later in the game, Este pulls him down for a safety. Greg Burns intercepts and scrambles to the LSU 41. All-American Tommy Casanova returns this punt 61 yards for a touchdown. Tailback Art Cantrell breaks through the line and past the secondary to a 55-yard touchdown. By game's end, LSU had returned 3 punts for touchdowns, tying the NCAA record and accounting for the final 61-17 score. 1970 football in the SEC was exciting. What's in store for 71? The prospects include 6 players selected for All-America. Johnny Musso at Alabama, Pat Sullivan, and Terry Beasley at Auburn. Carlos Alvarez at Florida. Tommy Casanova at LSU. And Jackie Walker at Tennessee. 7 more are all SEC. Tennessee's Kurt Watson and Bobby Majors. Mississippi's Jim Pooh. Georgia's Buzzy Rosenberg, Roy Smith, and Tom Nash. And Auburn's Gardner Jett. Add to these 22 more who won all sophomore, all SEC honors, plus the stars of 10 freshman teams, and it's easy to see why SEC football for 1971 will again prove better than ever.